We have all seen photos like this, 10,000 per XRP, XRP recognized by all of these different institutions, banks, financial market infrastructures, audit companies, you name it. But how are we actually going to get there? What are going to be the use cases to get us to these levels? Well, derivatives is probably one of the number one topics people maybe not understand the impact of how XRP can really liquefy all of these markets globally. So today I wanted to take a minute and deep dive even deeper, if we can do that, into derivatives and why XRP could be the best asset in the world to use for all of this. Let me go ahead and set this up for you. This is a new video that I've seen. I don't know when this came out, but remember the prices of cryptocurrencies will be set by the derivatives market as the derivatives market sets gold, wheat, and other different assets around the world. Check it.
As I explained to your audience today, I see crypto as much more than just a new asset class, but really a new architecture of finance, a new way of establishing who owns what and who's transferring what to whom, using the internet as the basis for establishment of that value, as opposed to the individual balance sheets of proprietary institutions. It's a new architecture, a new protocol for establishing value. In any commodity market, the price of the underlying commodity is actually not set in the physical or the spot market. The price is set in the derivative markets. Mature derivative markets are essential for price discovery because it's the one place that all the buyers and sellers can come together to agree on price. That's why the price of gold is not set in a jewelry shop. It's set in the derivatives market. The price of wheat is not set at a grain elevator. It's set in the derivative markets. The price of oil is not set at the gas pump. It's set in the derivative markets. So establishing well-functioning, healthy derivatives for crypto will provide a solid basis for price discovery and price setting for crypto.
So derivatives market will, in fact, set the price for assets like XRP in the future. I also wanted to take a look at what else makes XRP so unique for this market. And so check this out. XRP is increasingly recognized as a valuable asset for enhancing liquidity in the derivatives market due to several unique characteristics tied to its technology, market structure, and regulatory process. This is going to blow your mind. So check this out. Exceptional liquidity and speed. XRP is one of the most liquid digital assets globally, with a market capitalization of around 120 billion and deep trading volumes across both spot and derivatives markets. This liquidity is crucial for derivatives. It allows for efficient entry and exit of large positions without significant price slippage. Transaction settlement on the XRP ledger is nearly instantaneous for 3 to 5 seconds, and the costs are a fraction of a cent. This enables rapid collateral movements and margin calls, which is especially valuable for arbitrage, risk management, and high frequency trading in derivatives. Now, most of these financial institutions have, these large, massive computer centers and AI and all of these different things that are really trading these things faster than a human can. And the ability that XRP can unlock will allow those machines to trade even more, even faster, even more deep liquidity. Efficient bridge asset for global transfers. This is also something that makes XRP unique, more so than, let's say, Ethereum or Bitcoin. XRP's design as a bridge currency eliminates the need for pre-funded accounts. We talk about this so much on this channel because there are trillions of dollars locked up all around the globe right now, and that money is just stale. It is losing value over time because of inflation in whatever currency that it's sitting in. So the more the time that goes on, the more that this money cannot be used for business loans, home loans, student loans, whatever it is, personal loans. The bank could take that money, offer more services to their clients, as well as help whatever country is freeing up some of that value. I've seen in the United States, there's like $5 to $10 trillion locked up around the globe just from United States banks to service all of this money globally. Think of how much good that money can do coming back and being used for other purposes. Talk about on-demand liquidity for cross-border transaction. This means capital isn't locked up in the multiple venues, freeing it for more productive use, including the derivatives market, where fast collateral rebalancing is vital. Market makers, liquidity providers, can move quickly between exchanges, reducing the need to hold large inventories on each platform, lowering the counterparty risk. So it sounds like instead of having all their other funds on 1, 2, 3, 4 platforms, they can actually move it back and forth between these platforms very simply and easily because these transactions happen in 3 to 5 seconds. Normally, if you wanted to move value in between different funds or in between different products, you'd have to wait for the clearing, whether that took a day or 2 days. That really isn't going to help this new system. You need it instantaneously. Also, you're talking about institutional and regulatory momentum. XRP derivatives are now regulated and available on major platforms. Listen to these platforms: CME Group, Coinbase, Kraken. You are also on Binance, Bybit, OKX, BitGet, MEXC, KuCoin, Delta Exchange, Bitfinex, Femex, FTX. Well, no longer applicable. But then you also have options on Binance, Deribit, Crypto.com, Kraken, MEXC, Margex, OKX, BingX, Bybit, Coinbase, and of course, all of these other financial platforms like the CME Group. You also have Robinhood, right? We're going to talk about that as well. Just let me get through this other information I wanted to share with you here. So we did talk about the CME Group, Coinbase, Kraken, and with both standard and nano contracts catering to institutions and retail traders alike. This regulatory clarity and infrastructure attracts institutional capital, further deepening liquidity and making markets more stable. Derivative trading volumes for XRP has surged with significant participation from outside North America, reflecting global demand and confidence in XRP as a reliable underlying asset. So now the US is catching up with its regulations. First stablecoins, then you're going to have digital asset regulation. What happens when the US is no longer held back by those issues, right? Where banks feel comfortable, they know the rules, they are going to play by those rules. XRP is being used on a massive scale outside of the US for these markets. It'll just be a training ground, a proving ground for Ripple and for XRP, and the US will adopt it. In my mind, XRP will be used here in the US on a big scale. How big? We don't know. Is it going to be like 3 or 5% of everything? Is it going to be larger than that? Obviously, we're hoping for larger, but I don't want to get too out in front of my skis here. Growing use of leverage in XRP derivatives markets indicates that traders are actively using XRP for sophisticated strategies, further supporting liquidity and price discovery. You also have market stability and depth. The pressure of futures and options on XRP enhances market depth and price stability, as these instruments allow for both long and short-term positioning, arbitrage, and hedging. This reduces volatility and encourages broader participation from both retail and institutional demand and players. What else can XRP offer? Capital efficiency, global accessibility, and regulatory trust. Remember, Ripple is now going to become a bank. My question to you is, do you plan to open an account? If you are able to open an account at Ripple Bank, are you going to move over? I would say, like, could I be the first customer, please? I would sign up in an instant. And then, we did talk about CME Group, 1.2 quadrillion derivatives market. Yes, there are other assets like Algorand and HBAR and that are all a part of the ISDA as well. I'd imagine that there's going to be a basket of different assets that'll be used in derivatives, not just going to be one to rule them all. But it is nice to see that there are all of these options already available on some of these multi-trillion dollar platforms. And then, of course, you look around, we did talk about BitMEX offering derivatives. That's great to see. Robinhood, remember, they bought Bitstamp to drive XRP Ledger. Oh, well, this article is saying Robinhood and Bitstamp drive XRP Ledger to the 1 quadrillion derivatives market. And so it's talking about tokenized derivatives on the XRP Ledger, promise 24/7 trading, instant settlements, and fractional ownership. Robinhood's acquisition of Bitstamp could significantly boost XRP's utility and its adoption. XRP's efficiency, security, and transparency position at a prime platform for tokenized derivatives. And so this could really unlock, a 3 or 4 digit XRP in the future. And that is what we're all waiting for. Listen, XRP hits $1,000 tomorrow. I know there's a lot of people on my channel that would be retired just from that. And the amount of good that could put out into the world is filling my heart already with joy. I think we are going to be, the new kind of saviors of the world, right? If we're going to have this enormous amount of money, if it does work out like the way we're hoping to, how much good could we put that money to, right? There's only so many houses and cars and family members you can take care of. But after that, you're going to be looking to do some good with your money. And I think that a lot of people in crypto understand how not everybody comes from a very wealthy family, and we're out here trying to hustle and build our own names and our own reputations. And I think people are going to do some real incredible good in the future, and I can't wait to see that. XRP and XLM will most likely have a set fiat value in the future to enable money transfers via blockchain. So just more documentation confirming stuff that we already know. It says it is more likely that they will accept money transfers that have been enabled via blockchains, for example, Ripple and Stellar networks, and have a fixed value in terms of fiat. You also have this XRP will become less volatile over time as demand increases for XRP. So right now, if we bring in $10 million, that could move the market cap billions. But, it'll get to a point where there's so much liquidity on the chain that a dollar will come in and it will only affect a dollar. And then you also have Brad Garlinghouse speaking. Oh, excuse me. That is another video. I apologize. I got out in front of myself. This is actually a bill that Senator Loomis is introducing. The bill is it's going to allow small personal crypto transactions under $300 each and up to $5,000 total per year would not be subject to capital gains. I think there's a lot of people that ask, Sensei, is there any kind of crypto capital gains relief in the big, beautiful bill that was just passed? And unfortunately, there wasn't, unless something was added at the very last second, which they were trying to do. I didn't see that. But if I do come across any of that information, guys, I will bring it to you. And also it says earns double taxation on miners and stakers, tax parity for lending, wash, sales, and mark to market. No appraisal needed for crypto donations. Legislative context, of course. We'll see how this bill progresses and if this bill will pass in its form. I hope you guys enjoyed my update here on the derivatives market in and around the XRP ledger. This is such an exciting time. If you're not following my channel and if you want to stay up with XRP, Ripple, and crypto content, this is the place. I put out 2 videos a day. I put out shorts every day. I am here to help educate you if you want to learn. I'd love to help you.